Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Space Ghost issue number one. This was actually a pretty fun comic book. A little bit of a problem with it, but we'll see where the story takes us and the way the story is going to be told. This is not exactly like the cartoon. All right, let's get talking about who made this comic book, and then we'll get into the book itself. So they call him the Space Ghost. David Pepose, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is the writer. Jonathan Lau is the artist. Andrew Dalhouse on colors. Love this guy in colors just as much as I love Taylor Esposito on letters. These guys are mainstays at this point for just in general all over comic books everywhere. Francisco Matina, very famous name, doing the cover. Well, the main cover. There's a whole bunch of covers out here, including a Gold Key Comics looking cover. We're going to get more into that a little bit later on after we talk about the story itself, which is, what is it? Marshall, Will, and Holly. They're the three people on the ship. No. It's Dr. Jared Kepler and his kids, Jan and Jace, and their little monkey named Blip, which almost sounds like the Wonder Twins. I'm telling you, there's a missed opportunity there. Hopefully there'll be a crossover and we'll enjoy. So this was a pretty interesting comic book. There is killing in here. In fact, spoiler for the very beginning of this comic book. Dr. Jared Kepler himself, the kids' dad, the scientist, yeah, he only gets a couple of panels in this, and then he is gunned down quite literally by a super machine gun, like a Gatling gun, a portable one of those mini guns, right? Terminator style, or Jesse Ventura from Predator, Oh, painless. This was frightening how people were just killed in this. He wasn't the only one killed. In fact, the kids actually go around killing some people at some point, and they're in fairly gruesome ways that they're done. I would highly recommend buying this first issue and seeing where it goes because there wasn't really any fun. I remember the cartoon when I was younger, Hanna-Barbera, right? I remember this was a really fun TV show, right along with Birdman, whom I loved because I was always into Hawkman, and both these characters bit off of Hawkman pretty hard, but that's fine. Um, that's fine. Characters have come from anywhere, from everywhere. I don't know who they got the inspiration from Herculoids from, but damn, I would love to see me some Herculoids at some point. Wow, that would be great. Anyway, um, very interesting to see that there's not a lot of fun in this issue at the very least. It's more down and dirty, right? So I'm curious, like for instance, when Dad gets gunned down, there's never a mention of, and like from the very next panel after he gets gruesomely gunned down, torn to shreds, they're just like, we got to get out of here. We got to go. We got to get ourselves to safety. Blah 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 blah, stuff like that. Like I love my kids, all of my kids, all right, and I would want them to be safe. If I got gunned down right in front of them, I would want them to get out of town and get out of Dodge and all that stuff, right? Get out of Dodge City. They need to move it, move it. They like to move it, move it. They need to book, all right? But at some point when they're safe, I'd like there to be like a little, like, I don't know, they got to light a candle for me, but something to that effect. I'd be like, Dad, like have a little cry. Have a little cry. Just a little bit. Was I not worth it? Did I not raise you? Did I not do all these wonderful things for you? Did I not give you this incredible life? Right? And you can't even cry for me? We got issues. All right? Look, I may need to see a psychiatrist because of how bothered I was by this, but those kids should have to see a psychiatrist also. I get it. This is a dog eat dog world, but when it's your daddy dog getting eaten, that should say something. Then again, maybe they're just completely, cut out of this. Where's mom? Where's mama? Who knows? There's all these strange hat wearing people on these planets. It's really freaking weird to see this stuff. But I will say, there was nonstop action in this comic book. So I understand if they didn't get a chance to really settle and think about the idea that Dad just died. I don't know how they're going to do it, but at some point they have to address that Dad was just murdered in front of them. And nobody batted an eye. Like the bad guys were just like, was that the guy we were supposed to capture and interrogate? Like, I don't know. All these humans look alike to me. Like, that's interesting. That's cool to see something like that. I'm curious to see where the story is going to go. Not just where the story, but where the mood of this Space Ghost comic book from Dynamite Comics, I may have forgotten to mention that, is going to go because it's very different from me. Now there was a Gold Key comic book that came out. I just looked it up really quick. It was 1967, if I remember correctly, that the comic book came out. 12 cents cover. I always look at the cover price of those because I love collecting comic books with an older and older price. In fact, the oldest comic book that I have actually has a 12 cents price tag on it. It's a Gold Key also. It was Our Gang with Tom and Jerry. It was originally called Our Gang. Then they changed the title to Our Gang with Tom and Jerry. And the very next issue after the issue that I have, they just start calling it Tom and Jerry, or they start calling it just Tom and Jerry. I didn't put the just in the right place. So I'm really happy, like I love collecting older comic books and just, they don't have to be in great shape or anything. I just love the idea of it. As long as I can at least see that there was once a cover, then cool, let's go. I never read the old Space Ghost comic book. Maybe I should one of these days because it seems like it could be fun to go back there and look at how it was originally presented. David Popost, like a lot of like a lot of good comic book writers, goes back and usually looks at the old stuff and then makes their own version, but still stays a certain bit true to the original stuff. I wouldn't be surprised at all to find that he went back and he made issue number one very similar to the issue number one from back in 1967, the original run, the original introduction of this character. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Anyway, this was, I gotta say, a really good comic in and of itself, right? Non-stop action and bit of brutality. Good indication of what's going to happen in the next issue. Perhaps a little bit of levity, certainly the opportunity for it, which means a little downtime, and hopefully at some point they can address, Dad was just murdered. We just murdered some people ourselves. It's going to be kind of, but it was in self-defense. That wasn't. So what up? And see how this relationship builds. And it's funny that the whole thing seems like it's going to be revolving around the freaking monkey. How's that? I'm not here to spoil this entire comic book. Go read the comic book for yourself, for crying out loud, because honestly, it's worth it. It's worth it. The next issue number 2, actually comes out this coming Wednesday. So by all means, check this out. Go on Wednesday and pick up your comic book and try and find one of the old covers of this. If you're like it. Taylor Esposito, I think, did the I can't remember who's. Anyway, there's a bunch of really nice covers to choose from. Go out and take a look at all of them, see which one you like, and grab at least one of them. Because I really think that this could be one of those comics that's fun to check out. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Looking forward to issue number 2. Hope you guys will be also. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.